This audiobook reveals the most powerful manifestation technique, a hidden key whispered by mystics and sages, now returned to you. If you stay until the end, you will not only hear words, you will feel a shift inside you, a door unlocking, and reality itself bending to your command. Introduction. You are not here by accident. Every coincidence, every synchronicity has led you to this very moment. Imagine that you are walking through a vast ancient temple, the walls shimmering with inscriptions of golden light. Each word on those walls is alive, breathing with power, whispering secrets of creation. As you step further inside, you feel the hush of eternity, as though the universe itself has paused, waiting for you to remember who you are. Life is not what it seems. The world outside is not separate from you. It is a mirror, a reflection of your inner state, a canvas painted with the colors of your own frequency. You have been told that manifestation is about wanting, wishing, and working hard. But the truth is far simpler and far more profound. Manifestation is about alignment, not effort. It is about embodying the state of the wish fulfilled until the external world cannot help but mirror it back to you. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a river of light. This river is eternal, infinite, flowing from the source of all that is. Every dream, every possibility, every timeline you could ever walk already exists within its currents. Most people stand at the shore, watching, hoping, dipping a toe into the stream. But the technique you are about to learn is the art of stepping fully into that river, merging with it, becoming it. This is not about forcing reality to obey. It is about remembering that reality is already your servant. The universe does not argue with you. It echoes you. What you assume, what you claim with certainty, becomes the law of your existence. The ancient mystics called this the Word, the Logos, the divine command. Modern teachers call it vibration, frequency, quantum alignment. But the essence remains unchanged. You are the cause, and the world is your effect. As you listen, I invite you to breathe deeply. Let each breath remind you that you are not just hearing these words, you are embodying them. With every moment, allow the veil of doubt, struggle, and striving to dissolve. You are stepping into the realization that the most powerful technique is not outside of you, not hidden in a book or ritual, but already alive within your consciousness. Tonight, you will learn not just a method, but a way of being. And when you apply it, your life will not only transform, it will awaken. Chapter 1. There is a doorway hidden within you, and once you cross its threshold, nothing in your world will ever remain the same. It is not a door made of wood, stone, or steel, but of awareness itself. Few discover it, and fewer still have the courage to step through. But those who do are never again bound by the illusions of limitation. They discover that life is not happening to them, life is happening through them, as them, because of them. The great paradox of manifestation is this: the harder you try, the further you drift from the thing you desire. Striving places the wish at a distance, like a mirage shimmering on the horizon. Yet when you assume it, when you step inside the feeling of already having it, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself. This is the technique, the art of assumption, the sacred act of embodying your desire now. Pause for a moment. Imagine a stage before you, vast and infinite. Upon it, every version of your life is already being performed. One script tells the story of lack and struggle, another sings of wealth and abundance, another whispers of love, joy, and freedom. Each timeline exists simultaneously, waiting for the director to choose. And who is the director? It is you. Not the surface you that worries and doubts, but the deeper self that speaks in certainty, that commands reality without hesitation. To manifest is to choose your script, and the way you choose is not with effort, but with assumption. Assumption is not pretending, not wishing, not hoping. It is a quiet certainty, a deep inner knowing that what you desire is already real, already yours, already unfolding. When you embody this knowing, you step into the timeline where it is true. The curtain rises, the actors take their places, and the play of your life shifts in response. There was once a man who longed for freedom from poverty. Each day, he counted the coins in his pocket, fearing they would run out. He begged, pleaded, prayed to the heavens, asking for more. Yet, nothing changed. Then, one evening, an old teacher told him, "Stop asking. Begin living as though the wealth is already yours." Confused but desperate, the man decided to try. He walked differently the next day, as though each step was upon gold. He lifted his head, spoke with dignity, and carried himself as though he lacked nothing. Within weeks, opportunities appeared, doors opened, and money began to flow into his life. He did not force wealth to arrive, he embodied the state of wealth, and life mirrored his new state back to him. This is the secret. Assumption creates reality. What you dare to assume, the universe must obey. Consider how a mirror works. If you stand before it and frown, the reflection frowns back. If you smile, it smiles. The mirror does not argue. It does not hesitate. It does not ask if you are worthy. It simply reflects. The world is your mirror. Whatever you assume to be true of yourself is reflected without question. If you walk as though you are poor, life reflects poverty. If you walk as though you are rich, life reflects wealth. If you walk as though you are unloved, rejection follows. If you walk as though you are deeply cherished, love finds you at every corner. And so, the most powerful manifestation technique begins not with words, but with states. It begins with the question, who am I right now? Not who were you yesterday, not who do you hope to be tomorrow, but who are you now in the inner sanctuary of your mind? Because who you are in consciousness is who you will become in form. Close your eyes and picture yourself holding the thing you long for most. Do not place it far away. Do not imagine one day, someday, maybe. Instead, feel it now. What would it be like if it were already true? What would you feel in your body? Relief, joy, gratitude, peace? That feeling is the bridge. That feeling is the key. When you embody it, you open the hidden doorway. Many dismiss this because it seems too simple. They believe reality is rigid, fixed, unmovable. But look closer. Every invention, every breakthrough, every miracle began with someone daring to assume it possible. The Wright brothers assumed that man could fly when the world laughed at them. Nikola Tesla assumed he could tap into invisible forces of energy. Spiritual mystics assumed they could commune with the divine, and because they assumed, reality conformed. The universe bends to assumption like metal bends to a magnet. It cannot resist the certainty of a soul who has already decided. That is why doubt delays and fear fractures. But assumption, true assumption, crystallizes into form. Now, let us make this practical. Tonight, when you rest your head upon the pillow, do not drift into sleep as the version of you who is waiting, wanting, hoping. Drift into sleep as the one who already has it. Feel yourself lying in a room filled with abundance. Feel the presence of love beside you. Feel the freedom of success running through your veins. Fall asleep as though it were already true. For the state you enter sleep in is the state the subconscious accepts as law. If you do this faithfully, reality will begin to obey. It may not happen in the way you expect, but it will happen. Circumstances will shift, people will appear, paths will open. The mirror will adjust to reflect the new you. This is the essence of the most powerful manifestation technique, assumption. The bold decision to embody your desire now, without hesitation, without waiting, without needing proof. Proof will come after. The outer world is always late to the party, but it always arrives. Sacred practice. Tonight, choose one desire. Hold it in your heart, not as something you want, but as something you already are. Whisper to yourself, softly but with conviction, "It is done. I am this now." Feel the quiet certainty settle in your chest, carry it into your sleep, and when you wake, carry it into your day. Watch how reality begins to move around you. Chapter 2. The universe speaks a language, yet it is not spoken with words. It whispers in frequencies, it paints in feelings, it sculpts in states of being. And once you learn this language, you realize that every moment is a conversation between you and the infinite. Most people believe they are begging life for what they want. They send out prayers, affirmations, visualizations, all with an undertone of asking. But asking affirms lack. When you ask, you declare, "I do not yet have it." And so the mirror reflects lack. The true technique is not asking, but declaring. It is not requesting, but assuming. It is the inner claim, "I am this now." Think of the sun. It does not ask permission to shine. It does not wait for the earth to beg for warmth. It simply radiates, and by its radiance, life appears. Manifestation works the same. When you radiate the state of already having, the universe organizes around your light. There was once a woman who longed for love. She searched endlessly, hoping each new face might finally be the one. Yet every relationship ended in disappointment. Then one evening, as she sat quietly, she remembered the words of an old teaching, "Assume the feeling of love, and love will find you." That night, she closed her eyes and imagined herself cherished. She felt the warmth of arms around her, the laughter of companionship, the peace of being fully seen. She carried that feeling day after day, not clinging, not striving, but embodying. Within weeks, she met someone who mirrored her inner state perfectly. It was not magic, it was law. This law is unbreakable. Life does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as a tuning fork. Strike it once, and it vibrates at a specific frequency. Place another tuning fork of the same note nearby, and without touching, it begins to vibrate as well. The energy transfers. Reality is the same. What you assume within vibrates outward and calls to itself the matching note. Abundance vibrates abundance. Love vibrates love. Freedom vibrates freedom. But here lies the challenge. Most people vibrate in contradiction. They say, "I want abundance," while vibrating with fear of bills. They say, "I want love," while vibrating with loneliness. They say, "I want peace," while vibrating with worry. The outer world cannot disobey the inner vibration. It simply reflects it. So, the most powerful technique begins with alignment. To manifest is to bring your inner frequency into harmony with your desire. When your feeling and your wish match, reality cannot resist you. This is why you must live inside the state before it appears. Do not wait for money to arrive to feel wealthy. Feel wealthy now. Do not wait for love to arrive to feel cherished. Feel cherished now. Do not wait for success to arrive to feel powerful. Feel powerful now. This is not pretending. This is creation. Imagine a painter standing before a blank canvas. The world sees emptiness, but the painter sees already the finished piece. They feel it, know it, breathe it. Each stroke of the brush is not searching, but confirming. So too with you. Your assumption is the brush, and your reality is the canvas. And here is where many falter. They look at the blank canvas and lose faith. They stare at what is not yet painted and despair. But the true artist holds the vision steady. They continue the strokes until the image emerges. The master manifester does the same. They do not stare at the absence. They live in the presence of what they already know to be true. Consider a seed planted in soil. For days, nothing is visible. If the farmer doubts, if he digs up the seed daily to check its progress, he kills it. But if he trusts the unseen process, the seed will sprout, the sprout will grow, and the harvest will come. Manifestation follows the same sacred rhythm. You plant by assumption, you water with faith, you harvest with patience. And yet, patience does not mean waiting in lack. It means living as though it were already yours, knowing the roots are growing in the unseen. Let us make this tangible. Tonight, choose one simple desire, perhaps a phone call from someone you haven't heard from, or a small, unexpected gift. Before sleep, imagine it vividly. Feel it as though it has already happened. Enter the state fully. Hear the voice, feel the joy, taste the relief, then release it. Do not search the next day for proof. Live as though it were already woven into your story. You will see how quickly life responds. This practice may seem small, but it is training. You are teaching your consciousness to hold a state without wavering. And once you master it with small things, you can apply it to great things. The ancients spoke of faith as the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. This is not poetic language, it is literal. Faith is substance, an energy that crystallizes into matter. When you hold faith, you are holding the invisible architecture of reality before it becomes visible. Think of a film reel. The movie already exists in full. Scene after scene, frame after frame, it is all there. Yet the audience sees only one frame at a time as the reel turns. Life is the same. Your assumption chooses which reel plays. To change your reality is not to create something new, but to select a new frame, a new reel, a new script. This is why assumption is effortless creation. You are not forcing reality to obey. You are selecting the version of reality that was waiting for you all along. Sacred practice. Tonight, as you drift into sleep, choose a scene that implies your wish is fulfilled. Do not visualize endlessly. Do not strain. Simply step into the scene and feel it real. Let your body relax as though the outcome were certain. Whisper softly within, "It is done." Then surrender to sleep. For in sleep, the conscious guards lower, and the subconscious accepts the assumption as law. Do this faithfully, and your waking world will transform. You will see how the mirror adjusts, how the stage shifts, how the script rewrites itself around your new state. For the universe is not against you. It was always waiting for you to remember the language of assumption, the language of being. Chapter 3. There is a sacred moment, often unnoticed, that carries more creative power than hours of effort. It is the space between thought and sleep. In this twilight, the conscious mind grows quiet, and the subconscious, the fertile soil of reality, opens wide. To master this moment is to master creation itself. You have felt it before, the drifting edge of slumber, when images blur, when the body surrenders, when the mind hovers between worlds. This is the gateway where assumptions enter undetected and take root. The ancients called it the borderland of consciousness. Modern mystics call it the state akin to sleep. Whatever the name, its secret remains the same. What you carry into this state becomes the law of your waking world. Most people enter sleep rehearsing fears. They lie in bed, replaying what went wrong, worrying over bills, replaying old arguments. These impressions seep into the subconscious, and life mirrors them back the next day. But the master turns this moment into a temple. They step into the feeling of the wish fulfilled as they drift off, planting seeds in the fertile night. And the harvest always comes. There was a man who longed for healing. His body ached with illness, and his doctors told him little hope remained. Yet he had heard whispers of this hidden technique. Each night as he lay down, he refused to imagine sickness. Instead, he pictured himself running across fields, breathing freely, his body radiant with strength. He let that feeling sink deep as sleep overtook him. In time, his health returned, not by force, but by assumption. His body obeyed the law of his inner command. This is not fantasy, this is law. The subconscious does not argue, does not reason. It accepts whatever feeling is impressed upon it and shapes reality to match. Imagine you are holding clay in your hands, soft, pliable, waiting to be molded. Each assumption, each feeling presses into the clay, forming its shape. The subconscious is this clay. Night after night, you shape it with the fingers of your imagination. The world you wake into is the sculpture you have made. Ask yourself, what sculpture are you creating each night? Are you shaping abundance or lack? Love or loneliness? Joy or despair? The clay is always in your hands, and here is where discipline enters. The undisciplined mind drifts into sleep carrying chaos. But the disciplined mind, the awakened mind, chooses deliberately. It may take practice. Your mind may resist, doubt may whisper, but persistence is the alchemy. Each night you return to the inner scene until it feels natural, until the subconscious accepts it. Consider the child who learns to walk. They stumble, fall, rise again. Yet through repetition, walking becomes effortless. So too with assumption. At first it may feel awkward to step into a state you cannot yet see, but persist and it becomes second nature. And once it does, reality bends swiftly. Close your eyes now and picture the outcome you desire most. Do not see yourself wanting it. See yourself after it has already happened. If it is wealth, imagine the relief of paid debts, the freedom of overflowing accounts. If it is love, imagine the warmth of companionship, the laughter shared, the gentle presence by your side. If it is success, imagine the applause, the recognition, the inner satisfaction of achievement. Now, here is the secret. Do not imagine the process. Imagine the result. Do not picture the steps. Picture the end. For the subconscious does not need instructions, it needs outcomes. The how is none of your concern. The when is not your burden. Only the what and the feeling of already having. There was once a sculptor who looked upon a block of marble. When asked how he would create such a masterpiece, he replied, "I simply remove what is not the statue." Manifestation is the same. You do not create wealth, love, or freedom. You remove the illusion that you are without them. You step into the truth that it is already yours, and life reveals the form hidden within the marble. The universe does not deny you, it only reflects you. If you wake each morning with doubt, the mirror shows doubt. If you wake each morning with certainty, the mirror shines certainty. This is why assumption at night is so powerful. It bypasses the noise of waking thought and impresses directly upon the mirror of life. Think of a farmer again. He plants at night and trusts the soil. He does not rise each morning to dig up the seed. He waters it, tends to the field, and allows the unseen roots to grow. So too must you trust the unseen. Once you assume, release. Do not beg, do not check, do not doubt. Live as though it were already planted. Let us bring this practice into your hands. Tonight, when you close your eyes, choose a simple scene that implies your wish fulfilled. It might be a friend congratulating you, a loved one embracing you, a letter in your hands. Keep it short, vivid, and repeatable. Enter it, feel it, live it, until sleep carries you away. If you do this faithfully, the subconscious will not resist, it will accept. And once it accepts, the outer world must comply. This is the hidden law, the most powerful technique, assumption impressed upon the subconscious in the stillness of night. But remember, it is not enough to touch the feeling once. You must return to it until it feels natural. For what is natural to you becomes inevitable in life. Sacred practice. Tonight before sleep, choose a single scene of fulfillment. Keep it simple, but make it rich with emotion. Step into it fully and let the feeling saturate your being. Whisper quietly, "It is done." Then surrender to sleep as though the matter were already settled. For the dreamer of the night is the creator of the day. Chapter 4. There is a secret rhythm to creation, one so simple that it often goes unnoticed. It is the rhythm of inner cause and outer effect, the eternal dance of imagination and form. To master this rhythm is to awaken as the conductor of life's symphony. Most people live in reverse. They wait for the outer world to change before they change within. They wait for the job to feel secure, for the relationship to feel loved, for the money to feel free. Yet this waiting is the very chain that binds them. For the world does not lead, it follows. It does not command, it obeys. The unseen within you is always the true cause, and the seen is always the effect. Close your eyes for a moment and think of a mirror again. If you wish the reflection to smile, you must smile first. You cannot beg the glass to change while frowning. Yet in life, many beg the mirror of reality to change while holding inside the opposite state. They want wealth but embody lack. They want love but embody loneliness. They want freedom but embody fear. And the mirror cannot lie. It shows only what you project. This is the essence of the most powerful technique, to assume inwardly and let the outer world follow. It is to reverse the natural habit of waiting and instead live as though it were already true. There was once a young artist who longed to sell her work. She painted tirelessly but grew frustrated when no one seemed to notice. Each day she told herself, "I am unseen, I am struggling, I am poor." and her world reflected it faithfully. One day, an old mentor told her, "Stop declaring your struggle. Begin declaring your success. Paint not as though you are begging for recognition, but as though the world already treasures your art." She resisted at first, but then she tried. She began to imagine her paintings hanging in galleries, people admiring them, collectors paying generously. She felt the thrill of success as though it were already hers. Within months, her art began to sell. Exhibitions appeared. Collectors arrived. The world had changed because she had changed first. The truth is undeniable. Assumption is the seed, and reality is the harvest. But seeds require consistency. You cannot plant today and uproot tomorrow, then expect abundance. The law responds to steadfastness. When you hold your assumption long enough, when you make it natural, the world has no choice but to bend. Imagine a compass needle. No matter how many times you shake it, it always settles north. Your assumption is the same. Doubts may arise, fears may swirl, but if you continually return to your chosen state, it will become the natural resting point of your soul. And once it is natural, reality aligns. Here lies another secret. You do not manifest what you occasionally think. You manifest what feels natural to you. If wealth feels unnatural, it will evade you. If love feels foreign, it will not stay. If freedom feels unfamiliar, you will sabotage it. But once these states become natural, once you breathe them as easily as air, they appear effortlessly. So ask yourself, what feels natural to me? Scarcity or abundance? Rejection or love? Struggle or flow? For whatever feels natural is what you are assuming, whether consciously or unconsciously. This is why awareness is power. Without awareness, you drift, repeating the same old states, wondering why life does not change. But with awareness, you can choose. And once you choose, you can persist until the new state becomes natural. There was once a man who spent years believing he was cursed in business. Every venture failed. Every partner betrayed him. He began to assume, "I am unlucky. I am destined to fail." And life mirrored his assumption. One day, exhausted, he encountered a teaching that said, "Change your assumption and you change your fate." Skeptical but desperate, he decided to try. He began to affirm silently, "I am guided. I am blessed. Everything I touch prospers." At first it felt false, but he persisted. Day after day he returned to the new state. In time it felt natural, and when it did, everything shifted. Opportunities flourished, partnerships thrived, success became his new normal. This is the law. What feels natural to you will be reflected to you. Let us make this practical. Choose one state today that you wish to embody. It may be wealth, love, health, or success. Throughout the day, return to it. Whisper it inwardly. Feel it in your body. Walk as though it were already true. Do not fight the old thoughts. Simply return again and again. Over time, it will settle as your natural compass. And when it does, reality must follow. Think of a river carving through stone. It does not force itself all at once. It returns day after day until the stone yields. Your persistence is the river. The old patterns are the stone. And eventually, the stone must shape itself to the river's flow. Do not despair if change feels slow. Do not dig up your seed in doubt. Trust the unseen process. Life is always conspiring to mirror you. Your only task is to persist in the state you desire, until it feels natural. Sacred practice. Tonight, write down one assumption you wish to claim. Keep it simple, clear, and present tense. For example, I am wealthy, I am loved, I am free. Place it beneath your pillow as a silent contract with your subconscious. Each time doubt arises, return to it. Each night, fall asleep with it. Each morning, rise with it. Soon, it will become your natural state. And once it is natural, it will be inevitable. Remember this truth. The world is not stubborn. It is obedient. It does not resist you. It reflects you. And when you assume with conviction, the universe bows to your command. Chapter 5. There is a quiet power that moves unseen, a force so subtle most overlook it, yet it governs every event, every meeting, every so-called coincidence in your life. This force is your inner conversation. For it is not the words spoken aloud that shape destiny, but the dialogue whispered within. From the moment you wake until the moment you sleep, you are speaking inwardly. You rehearse arguments, you replay fears, you imagine outcomes. And every word, though silent, is a seed sown into the subconscious. If you could listen carefully, you would discover that your inner dialogue is the script of your outer life. Think for a moment. What have you been telling yourself today? That you are tired, that you are struggling, that nothing ever works for you? Then life must echo it back, for the mirror cannot lie. But if you begin to shift this sacred conversation, if you dare to speak within as though you are already the one you desire to be, then reality must bow. There was once a merchant who constantly feared loss. Each day he counted his coins, muttering inwardly, "What if it all disappears? What if I am ruined?" Though he worked hard, circumstances conspired against him, and one by one his ventures collapsed. Finally, a teacher asked him, "What are you saying to yourself in secret? For the world is only repeating your inner speech." The man listened for the first time and realized his constant refrain was fear. That night, he decided to change it. Whenever fear arose, he whispered inwardly, "Everything I touch prospers. I am secure. I am blessed." At first, it felt false, even foolish, but he persisted. Day after day, his inner voice grew steadier. In time, his outer world shifted. Prosperity returned. Opportunities flowed. The mirror could only reflect the new script. This is the most powerful manifestation technique in action. Assumption expressed as inner dialogue. Close your eyes and listen to yourself now. What story are you telling? If your wish were already fulfilled, how would you speak within? Would your tone be fearful or calm? Would your words be desperate or grateful? The secret is this: speak now as you would then. Feel now as you would then, and life will conform. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a stage. Upon it, countless actors speak lines, some hopeful, some fearful, some angry, some joyful. Which actor do you give the microphone to? For whichever voice you allow to dominate becomes the story of your life. This is why discipline is required. The undisciplined mind lets fear speak unchecked, but the awakened mind chooses deliberately. It silences the liar of doubt and hands the microphone to the voice of fulfillment. There was a woman who longed for love. Each night she whispered to herself, "No one wants me, no one sees me." Though she smiled outwardly, her inner dialogue betrayed her, and the mirror reflected her loneliness. One day, she decided to reverse the script. She began to whisper, "I am cherished, I am adored, I am seen." At first it felt strange, like wearing a new garment, but soon it fit. And as it fit, life brought her the love that matched her words. Understand this: your subconscious is not impressed by occasional effort. It is impressed by consistency. If you speak doubt 90% of the time and faith 10%, the mirror will show doubt. But if you begin to reverse the ratio, if faith becomes the dominant voice, the world must obey. So, let us make this practical. For the next 7 days, choose a simple phrase that embodies your desire. Keep it short, powerful, and present tense. Whisper it within throughout the day. If wealth is your aim, repeat, "I am wealthy now." If love is your aim, repeat, "I am cherished now." If health is your aim, repeat, "I am whole now." Do not wait for proof. The proof comes after. Simply persist until the words feel natural. This is not vain repetition, it is inner alignment. With each repetition, you are carving a new channel in the subconscious. And once the channel is deep enough, the waters of life flow easily. Think of a stream carving through earth. At first, the soil resists, but drop by drop, the water persists until the channel is formed. Then the stream flows effortlessly. So too with your words. At first, the mind resists, but repetition carves the path, and soon the flow becomes natural. Here lies another mystery. Emotion is the fire that forges words into reality. A phrase repeated without feeling is like striking flint without spark. But a phrase whispered with conviction, with gratitude, with certainty, ignites creation. Do not say it coldly. Say it warmly. Say it as though you already know. Say it as though you are blessing yourself. Do you see now why this technique is so powerful? You need no tools, no rituals, no outer aids. Your inner speech is with you always. In the market, on the train, at work, in silence. Every moment is a chance to realign, and each time you choose the voice of fulfillment, you are bending reality closer to your desire. Sacred practice. Today, begin listening to yourself. When fear whispers, do not argue, simply replace it. When doubt arises, do not fight, simply override it. Speak within as though the wish is already fulfilled. Make it your inner law, your secret language, and watch how swiftly the outer mirror obeys. For the kingdom of heaven is within you, and its throne is your inner word. Chapter 6. There is a law so subtle, yet so absolute, that once you awaken to it, the whole world reveals itself as a reflection of your inner sight. That law is simple. Imagination creates reality. Not some of the time, not only when you are focused, but always. Every image you hold with conviction, every scene you replay with feeling, every vision you accept as true, these are the blueprints of your world. You may think the future is uncertain, unfolding at random, but the truth is more mysterious. The future is shaped by the pictures you create within. Each inner scene is a seed. Each seed grows, in time, into the harvest you call life. Consider how a dream feels when you are inside it. While you sleep, the dream seems real. The landscapes, the people, the events. Your heart races, your body reacts, your mind believes. Only upon waking do you say, "It was only a dream." But what if this waking life is no different? What if the reality you see is itself a dream, one constructed by the deeper imagination of your soul? If so, then you are not a prisoner of circumstance. You are the dreamer shaping the dream. There was once a child who longed for adventure. In the silence of his room, he imagined himself a great explorer, sailing oceans, climbing mountains, discovering hidden lands. His friends laughed, calling it childish fantasy, but he persisted in his inner world. Years later, his life became exactly that. He traveled continents, wrote books of discovery, and inspired generations. His imagination was not idle. It was prophetic. This is the hidden technique, to live more in imagination than in sight. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Close your eyes now and test this. Imagine yourself in a place you long to be. A new home, a new city, a new life. Feel the air, hear the sounds, notice the details. Do not watch yourself as an observer. Enter it fully. Be there. When you do this with conviction, your body may even respond. Your heart quickening, your breath changing, your senses awakening. This is the proof. Imagination is not separate from reality. It is reality's womb. Think of a playwright crafting a play. Before the actors step on stage, before the curtain rises, the story already exists in the writer's mind. The audience may believe it is unfolding in the moment, but in truth, it was decided long before. So it is with your life. You are both playwright and actor. The world simply enacts the script you hold within, and yet most live as though their imagination is powerless. They indulge in visions of fear, replay scenes of failure, dwell in pictures of loss, then wonder why life echoes them. But the law is neutral. It does not favor joy or sorrow, wealth or poverty. It reflects only what you dare to imagine. There was once a woman who feared sickness. Each night she saw herself weak, frail, and declining. She spoke of it, imagined it, prepared for it. In time, her body conformed. But then, in the midst of despair, she discovered this secret. Imagination creates reality. She decided to reverse the script. Each night, she imagined herself radiant with health, moving freely, glowing with energy. At first, it felt like fantasy, but she persisted. Slowly, her body healed. Health returned. Her imagination, once her tormentor, became her redeemer. Understand this clearly. Imagination is not pretending. Pretending is shallow, without conviction. Imagination, when felt as real, is creation itself. This is why assumption and imagination are inseparable. To assume a new state is to imagine it fully until it feels natural. To imagine it fully is to impress it upon the subconscious. And what the subconscious accepts, the world must mirror. But here lies a subtle key. It is not enough to imagine occasionally. You must return again and again until the scene feels realer than the outer world. The old state will fight to remain, but persistence is victory. Eventually, the new image takes root, and the outer world rearranges. Think of an actor preparing for a role. At first, the lines feel foreign, the gestures awkward, but through rehearsal, the role becomes natural. Soon, the actor no longer pretends. They are the character. Likewise, through rehearsal of imagination, you no longer pretend to be wealthy, loved, free. You become it. And once you become it inwardly, life cannot resist conforming. Practical exercise. Tonight, before sleep, choose a single scene that implies your desire fulfilled. Keep it short, 5 to 10 seconds long, but rich with feeling. For example, a handshake of congratulations, a kiss of love, the sound of laughter in your new home. Replay it gently until it feels natural. Let it be the last thing on your mind, as you drift into sleep. For the subconscious accepts what you fall asleep upon as law. This practice may seem small, but it is the cornerstone of creation. Night after night, scene after scene, you are building the architecture of your future. Do not ask how or when. The seed does not concern itself with the rain or the sun. It simply rests in the knowing that it will sprout. So too with you. Hold the vision. Trust the unseen. Let the world bend in its time. Remember this: the outer world is delayed. It is always behind the inner. Do not despair if change is not immediate. Do not uproot the seed with doubt. Persist in the unseen, and the seen will follow. The poet William Blake once wrote, "What is now proved was once only imagined." Let this truth echo within you. Every invention, every discovery, every breakthrough was once a vision in someone's mind. Your desire, too, is waiting to be imagined fully. Sacred practice. For the next 7 days, set aside 10 minutes each evening for conscious imagination. Enter a scene that implies your wish fulfilled. Immerse yourself until you feel it real. Do not strain. Do not force. Simply relax into the vision. Let it carry you. Then release it to the subconscious. Watch as life begins to shape itself accordingly. For imagination is not fantasy. It is the womb of reality. And what you dare to imagine with conviction, you will one day call your life. Chapter 7. There is a force more powerful than effort, stronger than struggle, and more certain than chance. That force is faith. Not the kind of faith taught as blind belief, nor the kind that pleads with distant gods, but the living faith that knows, beyond doubt, that what is assumed inwardly must appear outwardly. Faith is not fragile hope. It is not timid wishing. Faith is certainty. Faith is the invisible hand that shapes the clay of life into the image of your conviction. To live by faith is to know the unseen is more real than the seen, the inner more powerful than the outer. Imagine standing before a barren field. The soil looks empty, silent, lifeless, yet the farmer who plants a seed does not despair. He knows, though his eyes see nothing, that life is unfolding beneath the surface. He does not check each morning in panic, nor uproot the seed in fear. He trusts the law of growth. That trust is faith. And just as the seed cannot fail to sprout when nurtured, your assumptions cannot fail to bloom when held in faith. But here is the tragedy. Most people place their faith in the wrong direction. They have faith in fear, faith in failure, faith in lack. They wake each day expecting struggle, assuming disappointment, and life fulfills their expectation with absolute precision. For faith, like imagination, is neutral. It does not choose for you. It simply magnifies what you dare to believe. There was once a man who lived in constant dread of illness. Each cough, each ache, convinced him of decline. He spoke it, feared it, believed it, and his body, obedient, conformed to his conviction. One day, weakened and weary, he encountered a teaching that said, "According to your faith, it is done unto you." The words pierced him. He realized his faith had been in sickness. From that day, he reversed his inner direction. He began to affirm health with quiet certainty. He imagined himself strong, vital, renewed. Slowly, his body responded. Health returned, not by chance, but by law. This is the hidden technique. Faith as assumption. It is not waiting to see before believing, but believing before seeing. It is to treat the unseen as fact, to rest in the inner truth until the outer world bows. Close your eyes now and ask yourself, where is my faith? Do I have more faith in failure than in success? More faith in loneliness than in love? More faith in struggle than in flow? For whatever receives your faith becomes your fate. Faith is not loud. It does not shout or demand. It is quiet, steady, unshakable. It is the calm knowing that no matter what appearances scream, the outcome is certain. Consider the story of the sculptor Michelangelo. When asked how he carved David, he said, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." That is faith. To look at stone and see a masterpiece. To look at emptiness and see fullness. To look at lack and see abundance. To look at yourself, perhaps feeling small, and see the divine. Faith chisels away appearances until the truth emerges. And yet, many confuse faith with forcing. Forcing is fragile, anxious, desperate. Faith is relaxed, calm, effortless. Forcing strains, hoping to convince itself. Faith rests, knowing it is already done. Which do you live in? Here lies a profound secret. Faith is practiced in small things until it becomes natural in great things. When you sit upon a chair, you do not test its strength. You trust it will hold you. That is faith. When you breathe, you do not wonder if the next breath will come. That is faith. Transfer this same quiet certainty to your desires. Trust that they are already held by the law of assumption, already secured within the unseen. Do not confuse delay with denial. The world of form moves slower than the world of imagination. Just as a seed takes time to sprout, your assumption may take time to appear. Do not dig it up with doubt. Hold faith until the harvest comes. There was once a woman who longed for wealth. For years she begged, pleaded, and despaired, but nothing shifted. Then she discovered the law of assumption. She decided to live as though she already was wealthy. She walked with dignity, she spoke with generosity, she felt the joy of overflowing abundance. At first, appearances mocked her. Her bank account was empty, her bills overdue, but she refused to yield. Day by day, she persisted in faith. Slowly, opportunities arose, money flowed, debts dissolved. In time, wealth became her reality, not because she forced it, but because she assumed it. This is the essence of faith, persistence in assumption, regardless of appearance. Chapter 8. There is a sacred mystery hidden in plain sight, one so ordinary that most never recognize its power. It is the mystery of identity. For the greatest secret of manifestation is not in what you want, nor even in what you imagine, but in who you assume yourself to be. Every desire points toward a self. The longing for wealth points to the self who is wealthy. The longing for love points to the self who is cherished. The longing for freedom points to the self who is already free. You do not really seek money, or affection, or freedom. You seek to awaken as the one who already embodies them. And so the technique becomes clear. Change your concept of self, and you change your world. Close your eyes now, and think of the version of yourself who has already attained all you desire. How do they walk? How do they speak? What thoughts arise naturally within them? What do they take for granted as obvious? For whatever feels natural to that self must soon become natural in your life. There was once a young man who dreamed of success, but he always saw himself as small, unworthy, destined for failure. No matter how hard he worked, life echoed his low self-image. Then he heard a teaching, change your self-concept, and the world must follow. At first he resisted, but desperation made him try. Each day he began to carry himself differently. He walked with his head high. He spoke with quiet confidence. He rehearsed inwardly the thoughts of a successful man. Slowly, this new self took root. And as it did, life mirrored it. Opportunities opened. People respected him. Doors that were once closed swung wide. He had not changed the world directly. He had changed himself, and the world reflected him. The law is simple. The world cannot outgrow your self-concept. If you see yourself as poor, the world will conspire to prove it. If you see yourself as unloved, rejection will follow. But if you dare to assume a new identity, the world must bend to confirm it. Think of an actor stepping onto a stage. When they embody a role fully, the audience believes. The gestures, the tone, the presence all flow from the character assumed. You are the actor of your own life. The question is, which role are you playing, and are you willing to change the script? Most cling to the old self, even when it no longer serves them. They say, "This is just who I am." But who you are is fluid, changeable, infinite. Identity is not fixed, it is chosen, and each choice reshapes reality. Imagine now the self who is already abundant. How do they feel when they wake? How do they move through the day? They do not worry over bills. They do not shrink in fear. They walk as though the world is their inheritance. If you begin to embody this state, not tomorrow, not one day, but now, the world must rearrange to match it. There was once a woman who longed for love, but always saw herself as unwanted. Her reflection confirmed her belief. Then she decided to change. She began to treat herself as cherished. She bought herself flowers. She spoke to herself kindly. She walked as though love surrounded her. Within months, she attracted a partner who mirrored her new identity. She had not chased love. She had become love. This is the sacred shift. Do not seek the thing. Become the one who already has it. But here lies the challenge. The old self resists. Doubt whispers, "This is not who you are." Memory says, "You have failed before." Appearances mock, "Nothing has changed." Yet persistence dissolves resistance. Each time you return to the new self, you weaken the old, until one day the new feels natural and the old fades like a dream. Ask yourself now, who am I assuming myself to be? Is it the one who lacks or the one who lives in fulfillment? For whatever you answer silently, life will echo loudly. The key is naturalness. Whatever feels natural becomes inevitable. When wealth feels natural, money flows easily. When love feels natural, companionship surrounds you. When success feels natural, doors open without effort. Do not strain to force it. Simply return again and again until the new self feels natural. Practical exercise. Stand before a mirror tonight. Look into your own eyes, not as the self who lacks, but as the one who already is. Speak aloud a single phrase of identity. Say, "I am wealthy now," or "I am loved now," or "I am free now." At first it may feel foreign, but persist. Watch your reflection. See it adjust. Let the truth of your new self sink deep. Do not confuse this with mere affirmation. Affirmation without identity is fragile, but affirmation anchored in identity is law. Think of a crown placed upon your head. If you wear it awkwardly, doubting, the world will not believe. But if you wear it naturally, with quiet dignity, the world bows in recognition. Your new identity is that crown. Wear it until it feels natural. And when it does, the world must obey. There was once a poor villager who dreamed of living as a king. Each day he assumed himself unworthy. His life reflected it. One night he dreamt vividly that he was already a king, robed in silk, seated upon a throne. When he awoke, something had shifted. He began to walk with quiet dignity, to speak with calm authority, to see himself differently. Over time, his life transformed. He rose to influence, to leadership, to respect. The dream was not fantasy. It was identity revealed. You too are dreaming a dream of self. Change the dream, and the world changes with it. Sacred practice. Tonight, before sleep, close your eyes and imagine yourself already being the one you desire to be. Do not think of acquiring, but of being. Walk in your mind as that self. Speak as that self. Feel the naturalness of it. Whisper softly, "This is who I am now." Fall asleep as that version of yourself and watch how the waking world reflects it. For life cannot disobey your identity. Chapter 9. There is a force that moves through every moment of your life, a silent architect shaping circumstances, events, and encounters. This force is assumption sustained. For one moment of assumption may create ripples, but sustained assumption creates a tide that no resistance can stop. Many test the law once or twice, then give up when the world does not change immediately. They are like children planting a seed and pulling it up the next morning to see if it has sprouted. But the wise know that reality has a rhythm, that the unseen roots must grow before the harvest appears. Sustained assumption is the art of holding steady long enough for the unseen to become the seen. Imagine a ship setting sail across the sea. The captain fixes the compass toward a destination. If the compass remains steady, the ship arrives. But if the captain changes course every hour, doubting, questioning, fearing, the ship will wander endlessly. Your assumption is the compass of your life. If you keep it steady, the shore must appear. There was once a man who longed for freedom from debt. Each night he affirmed wealth, but each morning he returned to worry. His assumption was divided, wealth in the evening, lack in the day. And so life reflected his contradiction. One day, weary of the struggle, he decided to test the law fully. For 30 days he held only the state of wealth. Whenever fear arose, he returned to his assumption. Whenever doubt whispered, he replaced it with certainty. Day after day, he persisted. On the 30th day, a business deal emerged that cleared his debts. Coincidence? No. It was the harvest of sustained assumption. This is the difference between wish and faith. A wish is fleeting, fragile, easily broken by appearances. Faith is steady, unwavering, sustained. Ask yourself, how often do I change my compass? Do I hold the state for a moment, then abandon it at the first sign of resistance? Or do I persist until it feels natural, until it becomes the only reality I recognize? For persistence is the alchemy that transforms imagination into fact. Consider water dripping upon stone. One drop does little, but drop after drop, over weeks, over months, carves through rock itself. Persistence is that water. The stone is your old state. If you persist, no matter how stubborn the stone, it must yield. Most people give up not because the law fails, but because they fail to persist. They stare at the mirror, demanding it to smile before they do. But the mirror has no choice. It must reflect what you sustain. There was once a woman who desired companionship. She assumed love briefly, then each day returned to loneliness. Her inner state was divided, and life reflected her division. Finally, she decided to persist. She walked each day as though she were already cherished. She felt love in the smallest gestures, the simplest moments. She sustained this state faithfully. Months later, she met a partner who embodied her inner conviction. Love had not come to her. It had grown out of her sustained assumption. This is the hidden law. What you sustain becomes inevitable. So, let us make this practical. Choose today one state to sustain for the next 7 days. Do not waver, do not check, do not beg. Simply hold it as fact. When fear arises, return. When appearances contradict, return. When doubt whispers, return. If you sustain it faithfully, you will feel a shift within, and soon the outer world will bend to match. Think of a fire. If you light it once and let it die, no warmth comes. But if you feed it steadily, flame by flame, soon the fire becomes unstoppable. Your assumption is that fire. Feed it daily, and it will consume the old reality. There was once a poor village struck by drought. The people despaired, certain they would starve. But one elder persisted in faith. Each day he carried water to the dry fields, though the earth cracked and the sky burned. The villagers mocked him, saying it was useless. But he persisted. Weeks later, the rains returned, and the first crop sprouted where he had watered. His persistence had preserved life. So too with you. When appearances mock, persist. When the world looks barren, persist, for the rains always come. Sacred practice. For the next 7 nights, as you lie in bed, assume one state as already fulfilled. Choose a short scene, perhaps holding a letter of good news, or embracing a loved one, or counting your blessings. Replay it gently, with feeling, until sleep carries you away. The key is not intensity, but consistency. Night after night, water the seed. Day after day, walk as though it were already true. Persistence will do the rest. Do not underestimate this practice. The world was not created in a single moment of imagination, but in sustained thought, sustained word, sustained vision. In the same way, your new life is not built by fleeting effort, but by assumption sustained until it becomes natural. Remember, the universe is faithful. It cannot resist sustained assumption. The mirror must reflect the image you hold longest. The stage must enact the script you rehearse most often. The soil must sprout the seed you water daily. Chapter 10. There is a law written into the very fabric of existence, a law that quietly shapes every event of your life. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. Wants are fragile, flickering like candles in the wind. They rise and fall with moods. They burn bright in moments of longing, then fade in doubt. But being is steady. When you embody a state as your identity, when it feels natural to you, the world must conform. This is why many chase desires for years with little change. They declare what they want, but they never shift who they are. They want wealth while remaining the self who believes in lack. They want love while remaining the self who assumes rejection. They want freedom while remaining the self who feels trapped. The mirror cannot lie. It reflects not your wants, but your identity. There was once a man who dreamed of becoming a leader. He worked tirelessly, but inwardly he still saw himself as small, unworthy, unnoticed. Each time opportunity arose, he shrank back, convinced he was not enough. His efforts failed, not because he lacked talent, but because his self-concept betrayed him. Then one day he heard a teaching: become the leader within, and the world will follow. That night he imagined himself speaking with authority, guiding others, commanding respect. At first it felt like play acting, but he persisted. Slowly the new identity took root. His voice grew steady, his presence commanding. Soon others began to treat him as a leader. Circumstances rearranged. The man had not forced leadership, he had assumed it. This is the essence of the most powerful manifestation technique. Become the one who already has what you desire. Close your eyes now. Picture the version of yourself who lives in fulfillment. See how they stand. Hear how they speak. Notice the thoughts that flow naturally to them. This version of you is not distant. It exists now, waiting for you to claim it. Most people live in contradiction. They imagine wealth but continue to embody scarcity. They visualize love but continue to assume rejection. They affirm health but continue to identify with illness. They do not realize the law cannot be fooled. The outer world does not obey scattered wishes. It obeys identity sustained. Think of a costume worn upon a stage. If an actor wears the robe of a king but trembles as though a beggar, the audience senses the falsehood. But if the actor inhabits the role fully, with presence and conviction, the audience believes. Life is the same. You cannot simply wear the costume of wealth, love, or freedom. You must embody it, live it, breathe it, until it becomes natural. Only then does the world bow to the performance. There was once a woman who longed for abundance. She repeated affirmations endlessly. I am wealthy, I am wealthy. But beneath the words, she still saw herself as poor. Her affirmations fell flat, for identity always overrules words. One day, she changed her approach. Instead of repeating, she began being. She asked herself, how would the wealthy me feel this morning? How would she walk through this day? She began to embody her new identity in the smallest actions, sitting with calm, speaking with dignity, feeling gratitude as though she already had more than enough. Slowly, this identity became natural, and as it did, her life reflected it. Opportunities, prosperity, ease. Understand this truth. It is not enough to think differently. You must be differently. Identity is a state, and a state is nothing more than a combination of assumptions, feelings, and natural thoughts. Change the state, and the whole world rearranges. But here lies the hidden key: naturalness. Whatever feels natural is what manifests. If wealth feels unnatural, it will slip away. If love feels unnatural, you will sabotage it. If success feels unnatural, you will repel it. The task, then, is to rehearse the new state until it feels natural. Practical exercise. Tonight, before sleep, ask yourself, if I were already the one I desire to be, how would I drift into sleep? Would you lie down in worry or in peace? Would you feel restless or secure? Step into the feeling of the fulfilled self. Let it saturate your body. Fall asleep as that self, and you will rise carrying its frequency. Do not underestimate this. The subconscious is most open in sleep. The identity you carry into slumber is the one the world reflects. Think of a child pretending to be a hero. At first, it is play, but the more they embody it, the more they believe it, and what they believe, they begin to live. Adults are no different. If you rehearse your new self long enough, you stop pretending and start being. And once you are, the outer world cannot resist. There was once a poor villager who dreamed of being a scholar. He had no money, no connections, no education, yet each night he imagined himself as one who already possessed knowledge. He carried himself with the dignity of learning. He spoke with the confidence of wisdom. In time, books found their way into his hands, mentors appeared, and doors opened. The villager became the scholar, not by effort alone, but by identity assumed. This is the mystery. The world does not respond to effort, but to being. You do not become by chasing. You become by embodying. Sacred practice. For the next 3 days, choose a single identity to embody. If wealth is your desire, live as though you are wealthy now. Not recklessly, but in feeling. Walk with calm assurance. Speak as though abundance is natural. If love is your desire, treat yourself as cherished. Sit with dignity. Smile with warmth. Let love flow through you as though it already surrounds you. If freedom is your desire, breathe deeply, move lightly, act as though nothing can bind you. Practice until it feels natural. Identity is the root. Circumstances are branches. Change the root, and the branches must follow. Remember this truth. You are not seeking to add anything to yourself. You are only awakening to what you already are. For the wealthy self, the loved self, the free self already exist within you. Your task is simply to claim them, to assume them, to live them. Chapter 11. There is a secret rhythm pulsing through the universe, and it responds not to what you do, but to what you expect. Expectation is the hidden magnet of your life. It is the quiet energy that shapes tomorrow long before it arrives. Expectation is not the same as hope. Hope longs but doubts. Expectation knows. Hope waits nervously. Expectation rests calmly. Whatever you expect with conviction, whether good or ill, must be drawn into your experience. For expectation is faith in motion, assumption carried in the bloodstream. Pause for a moment and look at your life as it is now. Every pattern, every recurring circumstance is the echo of an old expectation. Did you expect struggle? It appeared. Did you expect disappointment? It arrived. Did you expect to be overlooked? You were. The law has never failed you. It has faithfully mirrored your expectations. But here lies the hidden treasure. Expectation can be reshaped. You are not bound to yesterday's assumptions. You can create a new future by daring to expect differently today. There was once a teacher who told his students, "Your outer world is simply your expectation crystallized." One student, skeptical, decided to test it. He had always expected rejection, and so he lived a lonely life. That night, he chose to reverse it. He began to expect companionship, to assume that people would welcome him, to walk into rooms as though he belonged. At first, it felt strange, but he persisted. Slowly, his outer life shifted. Invitations appeared, friendships blossomed, love found him. The teacher was right. Expectation had shaped his reality. Think of a seed in the soil. The farmer does not hope it might sprout. He expects it. He waters, he waits, but never doubts. His expectation is law. So too with your desires. They are seeds planted in the unseen. Water them with faith, wait in calm expectation, and the harvest must come. Close your eyes now and ask yourself, what do I truly expect? Not what do I say, not what do I affirm, but what do I secretly anticipate when no one is watching? For the secret expectation is the true command to the universe. Most live as prisoners of old patterns. They expect tomorrow to be like yesterday, so it is. They expect bills, so they come. They expect rejection, so it arrives. But if you dare to shift expectation, if you dare to assume a new pattern, life bends. There was once a woman who had lived in poverty for decades. She had accepted it as her fate. Yet one night she read the words, "Life cannot withhold from you what you expect with certainty." Something stirred within her. She decided to expect abundance even when her pockets were empty. She walked with quiet dignity, spoke with generosity, felt gratitude as though she already had more than enough. Slowly, opportunities appeared, her work flourished, and wealth flowed. She had not worked harder, she had expected differently. Expectation is not forced, it is chosen, and once chosen, it becomes natural. Think of a traveler boarding a train. They do not hope nervously that the train will reach its destination. They expect it. They relax, read, rest, confident the track is laid. So too with your desire. Once you assume it, relax. The track is laid, the destination is certain. Expect it and rest. Expectation is also contagious. When you expect joy, you radiate it, and others respond. When you expect rejection, you carry it in your tone, your posture, your eyes, and others fulfill it. You are always broadcasting your expectation, and the world, like an obedient echo, answers. Practical exercise. Today, choose one small expectation and test it. Perhaps expect a kind word, an unexpected gift, a gentle surprise. Hold it lightly, but with certainty. Walk through your day as though it were inevitable. Then notice how life arranges itself to fulfill your expectation. This will build your confidence, showing you that the law is alive, that the mirror is faithful. Do not confuse expectation with wishing. Wishing longs for what it does not believe. Expectation rests in what it already knows. Cultivate the quiet knowing. Let it grow within until it feels natural. There was once a man who expected failure in business. Each new venture collapsed, not because the idea was weak, but because his expectation poisoned it. One day, exhausted, he decided to reverse his pattern. He began to expect success, to walk into each project with the calm assumption that it would prosper. At first, nothing changed, but he persisted. In time, clients appeared, deals succeeded, and his ventures thrived. Expectation had shifted the tide. Remember this truth: the world does not give you what you want, it gives you what you expect. Sacred practice. Tonight, before sleep, write down a single expectation for tomorrow. Make it simple, clear, and affirmative. For example, tomorrow I expect joy. Tomorrow I expect ease. Tomorrow I expect abundance. As you drift into sleep, see yourself living that expectation. Feel it as natural. Then release it. When you rise, carry the quiet certainty of it through your day. Do this faithfully, and you will discover the hidden rhythm. Expectation is the seed, and life is the harvest. Chapter 12. There is a truth so profound that once you grasp it, the entire structure of your life rearranges itself. The world is a mirror, and it reflects not what you want, but what you embody. This mirror is flawless. It does not distort. It does not delay out of cruelty. It does not choose favorites. It simply reflects back to you the vibration you carry, the identity you assume, the inner world you sustain. Most people argue with the mirror. They frown at their reflection and beg it to smile. They scold it, resent it, and despair when it refuses to change. Yet the mirror has no power of its own. It can only echo. And so the wise do not fight the reflection. They change themselves. They smile first, and the mirror smiles back. So it is with life. If you wish for love, you must embody the state of being loved. If you long for wealth, you must assume the state of abundance. If you desire freedom, you must live inwardly as free. The outer world has no choice but to reflect the inner law. There was once a woman who constantly complained of being overlooked. At work, she was passed over. In friendships, she was forgotten. In love, she was dismissed. She believed life was cruel. But one day, she encountered a teaching: the world is yourself pushed out. The words stung, yet awakened something within her. She realized her constant inner refrain was, "I am unseen, I am unworthy." The world had only mirrored her belief. She decided to change. She began to affirm quietly, "I am valued, I am seen, I am cherished." She carried herself differently, walked with quiet dignity, spoke with calm assurance. Slowly, her world changed. Promotions came, friendships deepened, love appeared. The mirror had shifted because she had shifted. This is the mystery. The mirror is faithful, but it is neutral. It does not choose joy or sorrow, wealth or poverty, love or loneliness. It reflects only you. Close your eyes now and ask, what is the world showing me? If it shows lack, perhaps you are carrying lack within. If it shows rejection, perhaps you are assuming rejection. If it shows struggle, perhaps you are sustaining struggle. Do not despair. Rejoice. For if the world is a mirror, you are never a victim. You hold the power to change the reflection by changing yourself. But here lies the subtle key. Do not try to change the mirror directly. If you reach out to wipe away the frown in the reflection, your hand touches only glass. You must smile first, and when you smile, the mirror smiles back. So too with money. Do not beg the outer world to provide. Embody abundance within, and the world reflects it. So too with love. Do not plead with others to see your worth. Embody worthiness within, and others mirror it. So too with freedom. Do not curse the chains outside. Embody freedom within, and the chains dissolve. There was once a man imprisoned unjustly. Though the bars confined his body, he refused to see himself as a prisoner. Each night he imagined himself free, walking through fields, breathing fresh air, embracing loved ones. He carried this vision daily. Years later, the courts overturned his conviction, and he was released. Was it chance? No. The mirror of life had reflected his sustained inner freedom. Understand this. The mirror of reality is always delayed. Just as the reflection in glass follows your movement instantly, the reflection in life may lag, for the world of form moves slower than the world of imagination. Do not despair at the delay. Trust the law. Hold the state until the mirror catches up. Think of a dancer twirling before a great wall of glass. The reflection follows, but always a fraction behind. So too with life. The outer may take time, but it must reflect you. Most people abandon their assumption during the delay. They declare, "It isn't working," and return to doubt. Yet in that very moment, the reflection was already forming, waiting only for persistence. Persistence is the bridge. Hold steady, and the mirror bends. Practical exercise. For the next 3 days, observe the mirror of your life without judgment. Notice what it shows. Then trace each reflection back to its source within. If it shows lack, ask, where am I assuming lack? If it shows rejection, ask, where am I assuming rejection? Then gently, deliberately shift the assumption. Begin to live as though the opposite were true. Smile first, and the mirror must smile back. There was once a king who looked into a lake and saw his reflection distorted. He grew angry, demanding his servants calm the water. They tried, but the ripples persisted. At last, a wise sage approached and said, "Still yourself, and the water will still. Smile, and the water will smile." The king obeyed, and the lake mirrored him perfectly. Life is that lake. It reflects you. Still your doubts, and the ripples fade. Embody your desire, and the reflection appears. Remember this truth. You are never fighting the world. You are only meeting yourself in the mirror. Sacred practice. Tonight, stand quietly before a mirror. Look into your own eyes. Speak aloud the identity you wish to embody. Say, "I am wealthy now. I am loved now. I am free now." Speak it not as a wish, but as a fact. Watch your reflection, see it adjust. Let the truth of your words sink deep. Then, as you go about your day, carry yourself as the one you declared. The world must mirror it back. Chapter 13. There is a sacred principle woven through every tradition, every scripture, every whisper of ancient wisdom. It is this: feeling is the secret. Not effort, not struggle, not the endless repetition of empty words. Feeling. For the subconscious, the great creative power within you, does not respond to logic or reasoning. It responds to feeling impressed upon it. Think of a dream. While you are in it, the mind does not question whether it is real. It feels real, and so the body reacts as if it is real. The heart races, the breath quickens, the senses believe. The subconscious accepts feeling as fact, and reality conforms. So too in waking life. Whatever you feel as real within, the subconscious accepts and projects outward. If you feel yourself poor, no matter how many affirmations you speak, the law reflects poverty. If you feel yourself unloved, no matter how much you long for companionship, the law reflects loneliness. But if you dare to feel wealthy, to feel loved, to feel free, even before the evidence appears, life must mirror it back. There was once a woman who desired a new home. She toured houses, dreamed of them, but always sighed, "One day." To her, the feeling was always distant. One day, a teacher asked her, "Why not live in it now, in imagination?" That night she lay in bed and imagined herself turning the key, stepping across the threshold, feeling the warmth of her own home. She felt the carpet beneath her feet, the sound of her laughter echoing through the halls. She persisted in this nightly ritual until it became natural. Months later, through circumstances she never could have planned, she moved into a home almost identical to her vision. She had not forced it, she had felt it. This is the mystery. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the bridge between imagination and reality. Close your eyes now and test it. Think of a desire, perhaps wealth, love, freedom, or health. Now ask, what would it feel like if it were already true? Not, how will I get it? Not, when will it happen? But, what would I feel if it were already mine? That feeling, gratitude, relief, joy, peace, is the key. The mind may protest. It may say, "But it isn't real yet." Ignore it. The subconscious does not care about facts. It cares about feeling. Impress the feeling, and the facts must rearrange. There was once a man who longed for healing. Each day he prayed, but his prayers were tinged with desperation. His feeling was sickness, and so sickness remained. Then he discovered the secret: pray as though it is already answered. That night he lay in bed and felt the relief of wholeness, the joy of freedom, the peace of health. He gave thanks as though it were already done. Within weeks his body shifted, vitality returned, and health was restored. Understand this: words without feeling are like arrows without force. They fall short. But words infused with feeling pierce the subconscious, and the subconscious creates accordingly. This is why assumption is powerful, because assumption is simply the sustained feeling of already being. Think of music. A note played faintly may pass unnoticed, but a note played with resonance fills the air, vibrating through every surface. Feeling is that resonance. Without it, your assumption is weak. With it, your assumption shakes the universe. Practical exercise. Tonight, choose a simple desire. Close your eyes and imagine one scene that implies it is fulfilled. Then, instead of watching the scene, step into the feeling. Ask, what would I feel right now if this were true? Let the feeling saturate your body. Breathe it in. Rest in it until it feels natural. Then, drift into sleep. At first, it may feel forced. But persist. Each night, the feeling will grow stronger. And once it feels natural, reality must reflect it. There was once a merchant who constantly feared loss. His thoughts were often hopeful, but his feelings were always anxious. His subconscious accepted the feeling, and loss followed. Then he reversed the current. He began to feel secure, to carry himself with calm assurance, to give thanks daily as though abundance already surrounded him. Soon, his business flourished, his wealth grew, and security became his reality. The key was not logic, it was feeling. Remember, feeling precedes fact. The world is only a delayed echo of what you have already felt within. Do not wait for evidence to feel. Feel first, and the evidence must come. This is the hidden law. Think of a garden. You do not wait for flowers to bloom before feeling joy. You feel joy as you plant, knowing the harvest will come. So too with life. Feel the wish fulfilled, and the bloom will follow. Sacred practice. For the next 7 nights, practice the art of feeling before sleep. Choose one desire and one scene that implies fulfillment. Do not strain. Simply ask, what would it feel like if this were true? Then sink into that feeling. Whisper softly, it is done. Let sleep carry it deep into the subconscious. This is the doorway between the invisible and the visible, the inner and the outer, the dream and the waking world. Feeling is the secret. Chapter 14. There is a sacred truth so often overlooked that it hides in plain sight. Your attention is the currency of creation. Whatever you continually give attention to expands. Whatever you neglect fades. This is not metaphor, it is law. The universe does not respond to fleeting thoughts, but to sustained attention infused with feeling. Attention is the golden thread that stitches your inner world into the outer fabric of life. Think of sunlight streaming through a magnifying glass. Diffused, it warms gently. Focused, it ignites fire. Your attention is the same. Scattered, it produces little. Focused, it creates miracles. Most people spend their days scattering attention upon fear, lack, and doubt. They watch the news and feed on fear. They scroll through comparisons and feed on envy. They dwell upon past failures and feed on despair. Then they wonder why life repeats the same patterns. But life is faithful. It magnifies whatever you attend to. There was once a man who lived in constant worry over money. He checked his bank account daily, staring at numbers with dread. His attention was fixed on lack, and so lack multiplied. One day a teacher said to him, "Shift your gaze. Attend not to what you fear, but to what you desire." That night, instead of staring at numbers, he imagined himself in abundance. He attended to gratitude, to joy, to wealth, as though it were natural. Slowly, his life changed. Opportunities emerged, debts dissolved, and money flowed. He had redirected his attention, and life had obeyed. This is the mystery. Attention is prayer. Not the words you speak with lips, but the focus you sustain in mind and heart. Close your eyes now and ask, where has my attention been today? Upon what did I dwell? Did I attend to problems or to solutions? To lack or to abundance? To rejection or to love? For whatever received your attention received your creative power. Attention is not passive. It is active, magnetic, commanding. When you dwell upon a state, you are feeding it energy, giving it life. Consider a garden. The plants you water flourish. The weeds you ignore wither. Your attention is that water. Do not be surprised when the plants you feed grow tall. If you water lack, it will bloom. If you water joy, it will bloom. The soil of the subconscious is fertile for both. There was once a woman who longed for love, but constantly attended to loneliness. Each night she whispered, "I am alone, I am unwanted." Her attention fed her fear, and her fear blossomed. Then she learned, withdraw attention from what you do not wish to continue. She stopped rehearsing loneliness. Instead, she attended to love. She imagined companionship, felt affection, gave gratitude as though love were already hers. Slowly, her life reflected it. Love appeared, not as a stranger, but as the harvest of her attention. The law is precise. What you withdraw attention from withers, what you feed attention to thrives. So let us make this practical. Each time fear arises, notice it, but do not feed it. Shift your gaze gently toward the fulfilled state. Each time doubt whispers, withdraw your attention and place it on the assumption of success. It may feel unnatural at first, but persistence reshapes habit. Think of a river. At first, it carves a path in one direction. To redirect it, you must guide it steadily until it forms a new channel. Your attention is that river. Redirect it consistently, and soon it flows effortlessly toward your chosen state. Do not underestimate the power of small shifts. 5 minutes of sustained attention upon fulfillment outweighs hours of scattered worry. One drop of pure focus is stronger than a flood of confusion. There was once a boy who dreamed of becoming a musician, yet each day he told himself, "I will never succeed." His attention was fixed on failure. Then one day, he shifted. He began to attend to success, imagining himself on stage, hearing applause, feeling mastery. His attention fueled his practice fueled his confidence, and soon his dream was reality. Attention is the gatekeeper of destiny. Guard it well. Practical exercise. For the next 24 hours, practice withdrawing attention from every undesired state. When lack arises, turn away gently and affirm abundance. When fear arises, turn away and affirm safety. When loneliness arises, turn away and affirm love. You do not fight the shadow, you turn toward the light. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, reality grows. Remember this: the outer world is not your master, it is your mirror. It shows what you have fed within. If you dislike the reflection, do not strike the mirror. Change what you feed. There was once a sage who said to his disciple, "Your mind is a lamp. If you shine it upon fear, fear grows. If you shine it upon love, love grows." Do not ask why the room is dark. Ask where you are shining your lamp. So tonight, shine it wisely. Sacred practice. Before sleep, choose one state you desire. Fix your attention upon it with love, not strain. Imagine a scene that implies its fulfillment. Hold it lightly, joyfully, until it feels real. Let sleep carry it into the depths of the subconscious. For in sleep, attention deepens into conviction, and conviction becomes creation. Attention is the currency of creation. Spend it wisely, and life will pay you in kind. Chapter 15. There is a law that governs the unseen threads of destiny, and it is this: the end is the beginning. What you dare to assume as the end of your story is the seed from which your entire life grows. The secret is not in asking, "How will this happen?" but in deciding this is already so. The universe is not moved by effort or pleading. It is moved by your ability to live from the end, to stand inwardly at the finish line of your desire and claim it as done. Imagine a great architect designing a temple. He does not wonder how the stones will be carried, how the walls will be lifted. He sees the completed vision in his mind, the arches high, the light streaming through stained glass, the sacred hall alive with music. That vision is the end. And from that end, every step naturally unfolds. So too with you. You are the architect of your own destiny. Your vision of the end is the blueprint. Most live as prisoners of process. They obsess over steps, over timing, over means. They ask endlessly, when, how, and their very questions delay the outcome. For the law does not require your calculation. It requires your assumption. There was once a woman who longed for marriage. She pleaded with the universe, asking, "When will it happen? How will it come?" But each question kept her in the state of waiting. Then she heard a teaching, "Live as though it is already done." That night she imagined her wedding ring, the warmth of a hand entwined with hers, the feeling of companionship. She walked each day from that end. She felt cherished, secure, fulfilled. Months later, a relationship blossomed naturally, leading to marriage. It was not her job to arrange the how. It was her task to assume the end. Close your eyes now and test this. Choose one desire. Instead of asking, "How will I get there?" imagine you are already there. Step into the end scene. Feel the relief, the gratitude, the joy. Let the end become more real to you than the process. For once the end is secured in imagination, the middle must arrange itself. Think of a traveler boarding a train. They do not worry about each track, each signal, each stop. They hold only the end in mind, the destination. The train carries them, so too with life. Secure the end, and the unseen intelligence of the universe carries you. This is why the ancients declared, "Declare the end from the beginning." It is not poetry, it is instruction. The end assumed becomes the beginning of creation. There was once a man who desired wealth, but always asked, "How will I earn it? Where will it come from?" His constant questioning kept him trapped in scarcity. Then one night, He shifted. He decided to live from the end. He imagined the feeling of wealth already his, the freedom of bills paid, the peace of financial ease, the joy of generosity. He felt it real each night before sleep. Soon, new opportunities arose, doors opened, and money flowed. The how revealed itself only after he had secured the end. This is the most powerful technique, to live from the end, not toward it. But here lies the challenge. Appearances often contradict. The bank account may remain empty, the body may remain ill, the relationship may remain absent. Most abandon the end when faced with contradiction, yet the master persists. They know the mirror of life is delayed, that the outer takes time to catch up with the inner. They smile at appearances, for they know the end is certain. Think of an actor rehearsing a play. They know the final scene long before the curtain rises. They speak every line, perform every gesture with the end already in mind. The audience may not know how the story concludes, but the actor does. So too with you. Hold the end in certainty and play your role with faith. Practical exercise. Tonight, before sleep, imagine one scene that implies your desire is fulfilled. Keep it short, vivid, repeatable. It may be a friend congratulating you, a loved one embracing you, or a letter in your hands. Replay it gently, with feeling, until it feels real. Do not strain. Simply rest in the end. Fall asleep there, and let the subconscious carry it into creation. Do this faithfully, and you will find that life begins to move in ways you could not have planned. Encounters, opportunities, and events will align. The how will reveal itself in perfect time. There was once a poet who said, "Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings while the dawn is still dark, that is living from the end. To sing in darkness as though the dawn is already here. To smile at lack as though abundance is already yours. To walk in loneliness as though love already surrounds you." The world calls this foolish. The awakened know it is law. Remember this: the end assumed is the seed planted. The seed does not contain the details of its unfolding. It contains only the certainty of its outcome. The apple seed does not wonder about the rain, the soil, the sunlight. It simply becomes the tree. So too with you. Assume the end and let life arrange the details. Sacred practice. For the next 7 days, practice living from the end. Each morning, choose one desire and ask, if this were already true, how would I feel today? How would I walk? How would I speak? How would I rest? Then live as that self. Do not check for evidence. Do not beg for proof. Simply embody the end. By week's end, you will feel the shift within, and soon the mirror without will adjust. For the most powerful technique is not to reach, but to rest. Not to strive, but to assume. Not to chase, but to embody. The end is the beginning. Conclusion. You have walked through the hidden chambers of the mind, past the doors of imagination, through the rivers of assumption, across the gardens of faith and feeling. You have discovered that the universe is not distant, not deaf, not cruel. It is a mirror, a stage, a faithful servant that reflects you to yourself. The most powerful manifestation technique has never been about rituals or struggle. It has always been about the sacred art of assumption, to embody now the state of the wish fulfilled. To live from the end, to feel as though it is already done, to persist in the identity of your desired self until the mirror of life bows and reflects it. Remember what you have learned. The world is your mirror. Attention is your currency. Feeling is the secret. Identity is the root. Expectation is the magnet. Persistence is the bridge. And assumption, quiet, certain, unwavering, is the law that binds it all. You are not at the mercy of chance. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the dreamer, and the world is your dream. Change the dream, and the world must change with it. So, as you rise from this journey, carry one truth in your heart. It is done. Whatever you desire, claim it now. Assume it, feel it, live it, rest in it. Let the old fade, and let the new reveal itself. For it was never outside you. It was always within you, waiting for you to awaken. The scriptures of every age, the wisdom of every sage, the whisper of every mystic has pointed to this one revelation. As you believe, so it is done unto you. The question is no longer, can I manifest? The question is, who am I daring to assume myself to be? Tonight, as you close your eyes, step into the end. Feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude of your desire fulfilled. Whisper softly to yourself, it is done. I am this now. Drift into sleep carrying this truth and let life unfold the rest. For the most powerful manifestation technique is not to try harder, but to awaken, and now you are awake. If these words have stirred something within you, if they have reminded you of the power that has always been yours, let this circle of light continue to grow. Like this video, if it has resonated. Share a thoughtful comment. Speak your assumption into being. Declare your new identity for the world to witness. And subscribe, not for numbers, but to keep walking together on this sacred path of awakening. For here, we are not merely listeners and speakers. We are creators, dreamers, visionaries, and the universe is listening. The end is the beginning, and for you, the beginning starts now. Perfect. Here are 10 click-optimized YouTube titles and 10 cinematic thumbnail text options for the most powerful manifestation technique crafted for high CTR, curiosity, and resonance with your audience.